introduction to MySawgrass. In today's session, I will be demonstrating our new software platform that is now available to all Sawgrass users. During this session, we will be walking through our new and improved design tool while also exploring our new print software, Sawgrass Print Utility. Without further ado, let's get started. Alright everyone, now in order to access the MySawgrass platform, you're going to first come here to sawgrassinc.com. You will then click on MySawgrass in order to launch the application. Now, to be clear, when it comes to logging in to MySawgrass, you will need to create a new account. You're welcome to use the same information that you were using for Creative Studio, and if you do that, any subscriptions or memberships that you had will carry over. But once you've logged here into MySawgrass, you have access to a couple of different tools available. First, we have the Designs tool, which is what we're going to focus on primarily today. If you still need to download Sawgrass Print Utility, simply click the Print button. You also have access to our Marketing and Selling tool. There's a community of like-minded product developers here on the MySawgrass platform, and we even have an inspiration page for projects that you might be interested in. We'll talk a little bit more about this material later on, but for now, we'll jump here into the Designs tool and get started. When it comes to starting a project here with this new design tool, there's two ways that you can go about doing that. The first option you have here is the ability to select a product from our product library. And with this option, you can come here and choose from a series of templates that serve as the basis for whatever project you want to work on. As you can see, with these templates, you have clothing items available, there's different home decor, accessories, different drinkware, and to be clear, this is just a featured page. There are quite a few categories of templates available to you. If you do decide to select one of these templates, it will then load that template into the design tool and serve as the foundation for your project. That way, as you go through that design process, you'll get to see what your design looks like on a ceramic coffee mug or a pillowcase, a shirt, whatever it is that you choose. So, in order to start a project, you always have the option to select one of our product templates. The other option that you have here is the ability to create what's known as a custom canvas. And this option essentially allows you to create your own template from scratch with the dimensions and shape that you need specifically for your project. When it comes to using that custom canvas option, one thing I do want to point out is that unlike with Creative Studio, with our new design tool, when you create a custom canvas, you will have the option to save that custom canvas and revisit it and re-edit it whenever you want to as well. For our example today though, I am going to choose one of these product templates. I want to work with this 15-ounce ceramic mug. Before I hit apply, I'm just going to hit this information button so that you can all see. As you're choosing templates, each of these templates has a description page with a variety of different details about the template itself, the print size for this particular template, the volume since it's drinkware, things like that. This looks good for my project, so I'll hit use this. We will load the product template and we will get started with the design process. Now that we have our template loaded here into the design tool, we're then going to use this toolbar on the left-hand side of the screen to bring whatever creative vision that we have to life. I'm going to walk through each of these today so that you can start getting comfortable and familiar with them, but I want to start first here with our elements. Underneath the Elements tab, this is going to be where you find our graphics library, the Backgrounds tool, as well as the Shapes tool. And I'll start my project first today with a background. When it comes to backgrounds here, you have two options available to you. You have the option of working with solid colored backgrounds as well as patterned backgrounds. With the solid colors, you can come here and choose from some preset color swatches, or you can use this advanced color tool to really expand your color choices. When using that advanced color tool, simply use the spectrum tool and the spot tool together, and you can get whatever shade of color you need for your project. For example, if you needed like a dark, Christmassy green color, you could choose that. Then using the spot tool, you can navigate all the different colors until you find the particular shade of green you need very easily. Just so everyone is aware, anytime you're changing the color of anything here within the design program, you're going to have access to a lot of different color options, as well as these advanced color tools and the ability to work with different color codes. That way, your color preferences will always be maintained throughout the design process. In addition to those solid colors, there are also plenty of patterned backgrounds available for you here. And these pattern backgrounds are a bit more fully developed with their artwork. They do come with different styles and different themes available to them. And you can explore these patterns as I'm doing by simply scrolling through the different options that are available. But if you're ever looking for something specific, you can always use the search bar and filtering tool to navigate the different collections that are available. A couple other things of note here with your patterns. You'll notice on some of this material a little diamond symbol in the bottom right-hand corner. As we go through today's session, if you ever see that icon, it just indicates that that particular piece of media is a part of the premium version of our design program. And like I said earlier, for those of you who have the premium version of Creative Studio, if you use that same account information when creating this new account, that subscription will carry over. And then also, if you don't find the exact pattern you need within our product library, or our pattern library, I should say, you can always use this upload tool to bring in any of the supported file types that are listed here, add those patterns right to your project very easily at any time. Once you have that background that you need for your project, you can then go back. And we are now going to jump here into the graphics library. The graphics library is a portfolio of different design pieces and different clip art decorations that you can add to your project at any time. When it comes to these graphics, just like with the patterns, there are a lot of different collections and categories available for you here, but this time I will use that filtering tool to come here and let's choose Christmas, because at the time of filming this, we're getting close to that. I'll choose winter, and let's do free as well. Once I hit apply, it will then filter through, remove everything that's not related to those categories. It's going to leave me with a lot of different Christmas stuff, a lot of different winter stuff to choose from. And I'm going to come here, and let's choose this graphic right here. We'll choose this snow hat. As you can see, once you choose the graphic, it will then populate directly onto your template, and from here there's a lot you can do to edit and control your graphic however you need to do so. When it comes to controlling your graphics, first thing to note is that you do have the ability to reposition your graphic manually very easily within your template. You can also come here and rotate your graphic, put it on any kind of angle that you need very easily. You can spin it all the way around if needed. You can also manually enlarge, shrink your graphic, and even delete it if you don't need that graphic anymore. Over here on the right-hand side, there are some additional positioning, alignment, and layering tools available for you, so that anytime you add any material to your project, you will have full control over the positioning, placement, depth, and dimension of that material. Here on the left-hand side, there's even more precise sizing tools and precise positioning tools that are available. But one really nice feature of the graphics here within the design program is the ability to customize the colors of the graphic itself. you have something like this hat, for example, on your project, but you want to adjust one of the colors within the hat itself, you can come right here, choose the appropriate color that you'd like to adjust, and then explore all the different color options that are available, while of course also having access to that advanced color tool. If you see a color you like though, simply come here, click on the color itself, and it will change within the graphic in real time, just like that. So just know, add your graphics to your projects, position them, place them, and edit them however you see fit to fit in with your overall design plans for your project. We might play with that graphic a little bit more later on in the session, but for now, I'm going to delete this. I'm going to go back now, and let's check out the different shapes that are available. When it comes to shapes, you have a few options available for you. With the standard version of this program, you will get access to some basic shapes. This includes your circles, squares, triangles, hearts, stars, things like that. Now, the nice thing about these shapes is that they do work just like those graphics we were just playing with. If you see a shape you like, simply click on it. It will populate right here into your project. And as you can see, on the right-hand side of the screen, you have all those same positioning, alignment, and layering tools available. On the left-hand side of the screen, you have those sizing, positioning, and color tools available. I just like reiterating that because the interface of our design tool does stay very consistent throughout. That way, you always know what you have access to. One other nice feature of the Shapes tool that you might want to take advantage of is the ability to use any of these shapes as a mask for your project. If you're not familiar with this concept, this will allow you to upload a picture or any kind of artwork into the cutout of whatever shape that you're working with. So if you have a picture of, let's say, a loved one or a pet, so let me go to my pictures here, you can select that image, upload it, and it will fill into the cutout of the shape just like that. I do want to point out that you have the ability to position the image within the shape however you need to do so. You can expand and compress the image as well as editing the outline of the shape too if you need to do so. But that masking feature is available and it works with all of the shape options, including the different specialty shapes that are available, which include some holiday figurines and things like that, as well as a variety of different numbering and lettering options as well. Now that we're finished with the elements, I would like to go over here to the Upload File tool. I like pointing this out because for those of you who have your own graphics or media that you'd like to bring into this program and add to your project, this is going to be how you can go about doing so. As you can see, we have a series of supported file types that are compatible with this application. If you ever want to bring anything in, all you need to do is upload, find the file that you'd like to add to your project, click on it, and it will add the piece of media right there into your project just like that. After you're done with the Upload File tool and the elements, you will then find the Fonts tool available to you. And as it mentions, this is how you can add text to your project. The Fonts tool is very easy to use. You'll simply come here into the top left-hand corner and type out whatever you want to say in your project. I know I mention them every time, but here on the right-hand side, I do like pointing out you have the same positioning and alignment tools available. But over here on the left-hand side, there are some fun things that you can do to customize your fonts. The main thing I want everyone to know today is that you do have access to several hundred different font styles right here within this program. You can simply scroll through, explore all the different fonts that are available. And if you ever come across a font that you want to change, simply click on it, and it will change your font style within the project in real time right then and there. A few other things to note is as you're exploring this font style library, you do have the ability to favorite fonts using this little heart icon. That will simply save your favorite fonts into this folder up here so that you have convenient access to them whenever you need them. Another important thing to note is that you do have the ability to upload your own fonts into this application, provided that they're the supported file type of TTF. When it comes to uploading your own fonts, I will be clear that this particular upload tool is a part of the premium version of this application. If you want to bring in your own fonts, you do have the ability to do that, but you will need the premium version in order to do so. Once you have the style of font that you like, you can then of course go in here and adjust the size. You could also do things manually still if you ever needed to do so. You can space the letters out on your project. You can adjust the color and outline color using all those familiar color tools. Like I've mentioned previously, this is pretty consistent throughout. And you can even build effects into your font here. So if you ever wanted a wavy feature, some curvature, a diagonal aspect, anything like that, you can always build those into any of the font styles available, including the ones you upload yourselves. And up here at the top, you have the ability to control how pronounced that font effect is as well. Down here towards the bottom of this toolbar, you're actually going to find a Designs tool available to you. And just like it says here, these are ready-to-use templates that you can add to your projects at any time. These templates here are just like everything else we've seen. There are a lot of different collections and categories available. In fact, this is where we add a lot of our material. As you can see, there's a lot of different collections here under the Designs tool. But the designs themselves come complete with a lot of different elements and materials already built into them. They're going to have graphics, shapes, fonts, images, patterns, all sorts of stuff. You can think of these as ready-to-use project templates that you can take advantage of. Just like everything else, I can go in here, I can scroll through to explore them as well. Let me go just find the Christmas stuff and hit more. I'll scroll through here, explore the different designs. And if I ever come across a design that I want to add to my project, I can simply click on the design itself and it will populate that design into my project automatically just like that. A couple of important things to know when it comes to these designs. First and foremost, you still have full creative control over the design itself. So if you want to go in and click on any of the graphics within this design, as you can see, you still have full control over the positioning, placement, and color of those graphics. You can also go in here and adjust the fonts within the design. You can edit the background itself as well. It's very easy to take these designs, add them to your project, and then make whatever necessary tweaks and adjustments to the design that you wish to make. Another important thing about the designs, and really all of the material here within this program, is that all of the content available to you within our design tool is available for Sawgrass users to take advantage of. What I mean by that is if you want to come in here and add any of this material to your project and then print it, produce it, and even sell it, you are well within your rights to do that. We have this material available to you. We're always adding more and more material. But if you find something you like, please, we encourage you, take advantage of it however you see fit. Now, we're going to do a couple more things here within the Designs tool. One thing I haven't shown yet that I do want to do, this particular feature, is I want to copy the graphic itself. So I'm just going to go up here, hit duplicate, That way I can have both sides of my mug with material on it. I'll go back now. And before we move on, I do want to point out one last tool on the toolbar, and that is your gallery. Your gallery is where all of your uploads are saved for future use. So if you do end up bringing material into this program, it will save a copy of it for you here, so you only need to upload things one time. The other nice feature of my gallery is this designs folder here. As you start creating and finishing projects within this program, when you hit the print button or the save and print button, it's actually going to save a completed copy of your design work into this My Gallery Designs folder so that you have convenient access to your artwork whenever you need it. That way, if you ever want to go back in here and reuse a design you previously created, you can simply click on it and it will apply that existing design onto your new project template just like that. So I like pointing that out. You're never going to need to recreate things from scratch. As you start building more and more projects, you will always have access to your design work whenever you need it. That being said, it's time for us to move on from the design tool now. I'm going to come here into the top right-hand corner of this screen. I'm going to hit Save and Print. It's going to prompt me to give my design a name. I'm just going to call this the Christmas mug. We'll leave it in the Christmas category, but you can add categories and organize them however you need to do so. This looks good for me, so I'll hit Save. We're now going to transition out of the design tool. We're going to briefly go into a little bit of the marketing and selling function that's available to you within MySawgrass, but I'll talk about that for just a few minutes. Then we will send our project over into Sawgrass Print Utility, and I'll start talking about the new print software. Now that we've saved our project, it's going to bring us here to what's known as the product details page. The product details page is what you would use to set your product up for sale if you were interested in doing so. For our example today, I just want to walk through some of the basics of this page. We're not going to get too deep into the selling aspect of everything. If you are interested in that, we have a lot of curriculum available to kind of help you master that. But for the sake of not overwhelming you during today's session, we're just going to primarily just go through some of the basics. Here on the product details page, at the top, we have our product name. This is, of course, the Christmas mug. It then requires us to give our product a description. You can be as detailed with this as you would like. I'm just going to write the word test to fulfill the requirement. From here, there are some hashtags available for social media marketing that you can use. We also have a pricing tool where you can, of course, set the price of your product to whatever you want it to be. And then there's also down here at the bottom a couple of marketing tools built into this page that give you a little bit more of control over the advertising of your product. The first thing I want you to know is that you do have the ability to make your product customizable, and this will allow you to give your customers the ability to make design changes to the product whenever they go to purchase it. To be clear, you don't have to offer this by any means, but if you ever want to give your customers the ability to change, maybe what a font says, change the color of something, reposition it, that option is built here into our selling tool. The other tool here is the ability to give your product a look or presentation. That way, when the product is actually posted for sale to the storefront, rather than just having a blank white background like this, you can make your product a little bit more presentable so it looks like what it will actually look like in real life. So that's the product details page. This is going to allow you to control and set up your product however you need to do so. Once you're done on this page, you can come here in the top right-hand corner, and there's a few ways that you can move on here. For those of you who have no intention of selling your product, I recommend hitting the Save button here. This will actually save your product to what's known as the studio. When it's saved to the studio, it's not for sale in any way, shape, or form. It's just there for your personal and private use only. The next button here is the print button. This will send the project over into Sawgrass Print Utility. We're going to come back and do that in just a moment. For the time being, I just want to post this for sale to the storefront so you can see what your profile and store would look like. There we go. Now that we have posted our project for sale, it'll bring you here to your MySawgrass profile page. A lot of people will bookmark this because it's a convenient way to access everything that MySawgrass has to offer. Right here on this page, you can see those tools that we talked about at the beginning right here at the top. But a few other things to know with your profile. You have the ability to edit your profile at any time here. You can dress this up with different backgrounds and artwork. You can adjust your profile picture very easily as well. You can even build in websites and other features very nicely, neatly, cleanly with that edit profile button. You can share your profile if you ever need to do so to a couple different sources. You can copy a unique URL for your profile page as well. And you also have another ability to start a new creation, which will open up the design tool again so you can begin a new project at any point. Down here, underneath my name, is where we can find the studio as well as the store. The store is, of course, where we're housing projects that we are attempting to sell. Here's our Christmas mug right here. Underneath each of these individual products, you will find a sharing tool that allows you to get the word out about your product to whoever and wherever you want. And there's a couple different editing options, including the ability to go back into the design tool and make any kind of edits at any point. You can always get back to that product details page, and you can delete creations off of your storefront as well. Next to the store is the studio, and like I said, your studio is where you can save projects that are not for sale. There's no price on any of these. There's no sharing tool. This is here for your personal and private use only. There's a lot more that goes into the actual managing of your storefront. You can find a lot of those tools here underneath your profile. You've got some dashboard tools, some production tools, things like that. But like I said, we're not going to get too deep into that. What we're going to do now is we're going to go back to that product details page. We'll come right back up here into the top right-hand corner. We'll select print. We are going to send our project over into Sawgrass Print Utility. We're now going to talk about what Sawgrass Print Utility is, how to use it, why it's important for you to use it, and all of that good stuff. Your screen might go blank for just a moment. That's normal. I will reshare my screen as soon as it carries over. Now that we've sent our project over, it is opened up right here within Sawgrass Print Utility. And Print Utility is, of course, going to be the new replacement for what was Sawgrass Print Manager. A lot of this will function and look very similar to you, but we do have some new features built here into Print Utility that I think will be very helpful to anyone using this. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to walk through step by step on how to use Sawgrass Print Utility so that everyone watching can get comfortable and familiar with this. First thing to note is that here on the right-hand side is our print preview. This is, of course, that ceramic mug project that we just put together back within the design tool. And over here on the left-hand side of the application is going to be where we find our project settings. The first of these settings is the formatting and layout settings for the project itself. And when it comes to these layout settings, this is essentially how you want the project to sit and format and orient itself on the paper itself when it's printed out. The first of these settings is the ability to adjust the size of the design that you're printing. It will default to whatever template size that you were working off of, but if you ever need to make any adjustments to the width or height of your project, this is where you can go to do so. One friendly tip here is that in order to adjust the size, I do recommend breaking this little chain. This allows you to adjust the width and height independently of one another, so you can cleanly adjust the size to whatever you need it to be. Also, within this layout section, you do have the ability to rotate your design on the page if you ever need to do so, and another great feature here is the ability to repeat multiple copies of your project on the same piece of paper just like that. This option can go a long way in helping you save money on sublimation paper. It's especially helpful when printing out small things like keychains, magnets, ornaments, stuff like that, because you could get maybe 7, 8 plus copies of a design on one piece of paper. As you all start working here within Sawgrass Print Utility, I do think it's important that you're aware of the information buttons built in throughout this application. These information buttons will walk you through the different settings that are available. That way, as you're getting familiar with all of this, if you have questions about what a particular setting or feature does, you can always refer back to that right there. Once we have the layout set up how we need it to be, we can then further scroll down where we will then find both our print settings and more specifically our job settings. This is the information that you need to communicate specifically to your printer so that you have the appropriate output for whatever project that you're working on. The first of these job settings is whether or not the project is mirrored, and most sublimation projects, of course, do need to be mirrored, but if you ever need to turn this off for any reason, if you were, let's say, working with acrylic or glass, it's very easy to uncheck that setting. It will default to being mirrored for any project you bring in here. The next feature here is the ability to center your project on the page. I'm just going to click this so that you can see as you're working with your job settings, your print preview will reflect any changes you make to those settings. Underneath those features, you'll then find some different menu tabs that are available to you. And the first of these is the product selection list. The product selection list is where you choose the material or substrate that you're going to be pressing your design onto. Different materials do require different amounts of ink, so it's actually very important that you come here and choose the right particular substrate for your project. In this case, ceramic, for a ceramic coffee mug. Next, we have media size. Media size is referring to the size of paper that you're working with. And we do have some common ones pre-built in here for you. This includes letter paper, legal paper, different sizes of mug paper. But if you're ever working with something a little bit unique, you always have that option to create a custom paper size, name it what you'd like, set your dimensions, and save it for future use as well. Further down the list, there is something called media type, and this is a little bit different. This is actually referring to the brand or type of sublimation paper that you're working with. And once again, we do have some common ones built in here for you, like TruePix Classic. TextPrint is also in here. But if you don't see your particular brand of sublimation paper on this list, just know that Type A and Type B are the two most common coatings that go on sublimation paper. Most likely anything you purchase is going to fall into one of these categories. My best recommendation for you is do a test print with each of these selected and just see which one works better for you. I know that's a lot of information to keep in track, so we do have an information button here to walk you through all of that. Underneath media type, there's also something called media source. For those of you who have an option tray or a bypass tray, this is where you can communicate to pull paper from those locations. If you don't have either one of those, you can simply leave this on tray 1. At the bottom of your job settings, you can also adjust the print orientation. You can control how many copies you're printing, And the print button itself is always down here for you as well. That's relatively straightforward. So I want to scroll back up now and jump here into the color management tab. When it comes to color management, there's 4 different color modes available for you here within Print Utility. And the first of these color modes is photographic. Photographic is actually the color mode that we recommend when printing out real-life pictures and images, anything captured with a camera, or anything where color integrity is the priority. For example, if you need to print out a specific logo and it's important that the logo is the perfect shade of blue or whatever it may be, photographic is going to give you most photorealistic lifelike colors. Vibrant here is going to actually saturate your design with more color, enrich the overall color output of the project. So when you're printing out graphic images like this mug, for example, Vibrant is a great color mode for projects like that. Grayscale here is going to remove color altogether from the project. It will leave you with a black and white version of your design. And you can configure the grayscale right here very easily, however you need to do so. The last of these color modes is actually the ability to create your own custom color configuration if you ever need to do so. This lets you go in and adjust your color tones, build out your brightness, hue, saturation, and contrast settings. You can save those configurations, load them, and apply them to any of the designs you bring here to Print Utility. So that option is available for you if you ever need it. I will say the photographic and vibrant color mode are going to work for a vast majority of your projects, so don't feel like you need to build out custom color configurations for everything you bring here into Print Utility. So that's your general settings, that's your color management settings, that's your layout settings. That's what you're going to use to set your products up for printing to your Sawgrass printer. Now, before we finish up here in Print Utility, there are some application settings that I think are important for everyone to be aware of, and you can access the application settings for this software right over here on the left-hand side. Simply click on that settings wheel and it will pull this page up. Most of the settings here are a matter of preference for how you want the application to perform for you. Underneath your general settings, you can switch from things like inches to millimeters if you ever need to do that, or if that's your preferred measurement system. You can set this up to close the jobs when you're done printing, automatically turn on this application when you start your computer up. Things like that are all built in and available here. Next to General, you have your Devices tab. And your Devices tab is going to allow you to further manage your printers. You can sort through the different printers that you might have connected here. You have the ability to find out a little bit more information about the printer itself. Your serial code number is listed here. You can track your firmware version, your print count, things of that nature. As you can see, your ink levels and waste tray level are measured here as well. Another thing that you might want to take advantage of with this Devices page is this Printer Utilities option. This allows you to perform some diagnostic stuff if you're ever needing to do so or working with our service team. You can do nozzle checks here, head cleanings, things like that right from this page. Next to Devices, you have the ability to further manage your page sizes, which is of course managing your paper sizes. And on this page, you can mark certain paper sizes as the default. So if you're someone who uses the same paper size every single time, you can just mark the certain one you need as the default paper size for the application. You can rename paper sizes if you need to do so, remove them altogether if that's your preferred option as well. As you start working within these application settings, I do want everyone to remember there are information buttons here for you. I don't expect you to memorize all the different features and settings and nuanced things here in this section of the program. So always remember you can refer back to stuff like that whenever you need to. One really important feature here that you definitely will take advantage of is this Send to Sawgrass Print Utility function. When it comes to printing through Sawgrass Print Utility, you are not exclusively reserved to our design tool. You can print using this program with a variety of different sources and studios. And the way that you're going to do that is by taking advantage of this option right here. What's going to happen is once this program is downloaded to your computer, it's going to add this Send to Sawgrass Print Utility option underneath your list of printers. That way, if you're ever done with a project in, let's say, Adobe, Cricut Design Space, whatever studio you might want to work in, you can actually File, Print, select the Send to Sawgrass option from your list of printers. It will then send your project from that studio over here into Print Utility, where you will then set up all of the appropriate settings that we just talked about, and then you can print your project. So just to be clear for this, you'll never print directly to your Sawgrass printer. You are printing from a third-party studio. Make sure you get in the habit of sending your projects over here into Print Utility with this option right here. Another way that you can print using Sawgrass Print Utility that might even be easier for your workflow is to actually come here, hit this Create button, which will open a new tab, and from there you can simply use the Add Files option to import any of the compatible file types that are listed here. This will allow you to go right into your computer, find the project you need, upload it here into Print Utility, set up all of those same settings, and print that way as well. So when it comes to printing with Sawgrass Print Utility, just to summarize, a couple different ways that you can get projects here. You can, of course, send them over from the MySawgrass platform. You can print from third-party studios using that Send to Print Utility option that I talked about, or you can simply import your projects directly, whatever you prefer to do. One or two last-minute things here before we wrap up with this software is right over here on the left-hand side, there is a Recents page that might be beneficial to some of you. And this actually will keep track of recently completed print jobs. And that way, if you ever need to revisit or reprint something, you don't need to upload it once again. You can come here to this page, find the project you want, hit Open. It will reload the design here into Print Utility with all of the same settings that you previously applied to it. That way, all you need to do is hit Print, and it will send that project right back to your Sawgrass printer. Another really helpful tool that is kind of a new and improved feature with Print Utility is the ability to create quick print folders anywhere you'd like on your computer. These quick print folders are standard file folders that can have a variety of different job settings applied to them, and it's a helpful way to kind of expedite the printing process. So to give you an example, if you're someone who creates a lot of ceramic mugs, for example, you could come here, create a new folder, attach the appropriate printer to that folder, and then apply all the necessary job settings you would normally use on a ceramic coffee mug to that folder. You could then name the folder, save it wherever you want, and at that point, all you need to do is drag and drop files into the folder itself. It will apply all the necessary job settings, and it will either send the project to Print Utility, or if you choose this option, it will automatically print it for you. That's a lot of information. I am very aware of that, so we do have a video built right here to walk you through how to create and work with quick print folders. All right, everyone, that is actually all I have for you when it comes to MySawgrass as well as Sawgrass Print Utility. But before we wrap up today, I am going to go back to our website and go over a couple other things with you. So we'll do that now. Back here on the website, there are some important resources that will be beneficial to you as you go forward. And the first thing I'd like to go over here on the website is actually the support button here. This support button is going to be how you can connect with a Sawgrass representative. So if you have any questions about the software that you're working with, or you have any problems going forward, this is where you can connect with us. Simply come here to this request form, fill out all of the appropriate information, provide some details to us, and one of our representatives will be in contact with you to get your problem resolved. Right here, you'll see that there is the ability, optionally, to put your telephone number in. If you provide us with your telephone number, we will assume that that is your preferred method of contact, and we will do our best to honor that and communicate and connect with you via a phone call. But like I said, if you have any issues, you have any problems with the transition to this new software, please reach out to us. We are always here to help you, and we can best connect with you if you fill out this request form. Also available on the website, we do have a lot of education material that's a very valuable resource for anyone, and we recently consolidated it all here into this Learn tab, and underneath the Learn tab, you'll find a lot of great resources, including the knowledge base. The knowledge base is where you can find written breakdowns of almost everything you could ever need to know about a Sawgrass printer, but specifically, we do have a MySawgrass page available that has some written articles about how to work with Sawgrass Print Utility, different features and capabilities typed out here for you. If you ever need a refresher or to go back and review, you can do that. There is detail about the design tool with all the different features in there. And there's even some articles about the marketing and selling capabilities of that application as well. For those of you who might prefer to learn through a video format, I will also point out underneath this Learn tab, we do have the Academy. This links you to our YouTube channel, but underneath our YouTube channel, we have a lot of different videos covering a lot of different topics. There's getting started information in there. There's walkthrough quick tips of all the software I talked about today. There are videos with different project walkthroughs, different guides on color theory. Everything you could ever need to know about Sawgrass and Sublimation can be found within our Academy as well. So as you go forward, you have support with the support team there. We have a lot of education material, including that knowledge base and the Academy. So take advantage of those resources. They'll go a long way in just helping you feel comfortable and confident with transitioning into this new software. But with that all being said, that is actually all the information that I do have for you today. I appreciate everyone who takes the time to watch this video. I hope you found this material helpful. If you have anything you ever need, please feel free to reach out to us. I wish you the best of luck with everything, and thank you again. Have a good night.